showing the total acreage.
Ready, sir?
And it kind of, it's showing in Mecklenburg and then it's split.
He's ready, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Before we get started, let me kind of read through our role as a board and then also the order and the way we'll handle the meetings today. Then if you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain those. We're the 2025 Board of Equalization and Review for Union County, and we have been appointed by the county commissioners to hear all taxpayers with respect to concerns and complaints regarding the valuation of their property for tax purposes. Property owners appearing before the Board of Equalization and Review have a right to a fair and equitable hearing. The Board of Equalization and Review has been charged with ensuring that the proper legal principles have been applied in a valuation dispute for tax purposes. So when we get started today, the clerk to my right, she will call the case, and then the property will be located on the monitors here. So everybody, we've got monitors here, so everybody's looking at the same thing. There's a book up there with information in it, so you're looking at the same thing that we're looking at. So like I said, the staff will locate the property, and then after they do that, you'll step forward here to the mic, and we'll have you present your information to the board. We'll keep it as relaxed as we can, and with a pretty full schedule today, we're going to need to hold you to about 15 minutes on what you present to us. So when we get to about 13 minutes, the clerk will give us all a warning, there, okay? After you present your information, the board members will have a chance to ask questions of you. After that, you'll have a seat. The county will do the same. They'll come and present their information. We'll have a chance to ask questions of the county. When that piece is finished, I will circle back to you if you have any final comments, okay? Any questions should be directed to me as chairman. There's no asking the county questions or that kind of thing, okay? So any questions need to be directed to me. After we hear all the cases today, we'll go into the deliberation phase of the hearing. You're welcome to stay. Sometimes it can get long, so I'll leave that up to you. After we deliberate and make a decision, normally the county will inform you in writing within about 30 days. By statute, the burden of proof is on the taxpayer to demonstrate that the assessment is erroneous. And if you have any sales data that you've got today, please keep in mind that sales data that you present needs to be as of 1/1/25 or before. It cannot be after 1/1/25. And the reason for that is that's the effective date of the property reevaluation is 1/1/25. So we can't be looking at sales data from April of this year, okay? Only individual taxpayers or licensed residential or certified real estate appraisers licensed to do business in North Carolina may express an opinion of value of real property. No other persons, whether attorneys in fact, attorneys at law, or corporate representatives are entitled to express an opinion of value of real property. And before we get started, if I could ask you to silence your cell phones, and are there any questions? Like I said, we'll keep it as relaxed as we can, but we've got to have some order to it. So with that, Madam Clerk, we'll get started. Everybody's mics on.
All right, good morning. We will start with hearing number 1, which is for property key 06117-003A. The taxpayer is Stephen and Brittany Vong.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This property, if you'll look here on the map, this is the roundabout at Matthews Weddington Road, Tilly Morris, and this is Union Day School right here. So if you'll come out Tilly Morris, you're actually going to go outside of Union County into Mecklenburg County, make a right on Rocking Chair, and we'll be coming up Butter Churn, and this property is split by the Mecklenburg and Union County line, which is not on this map, but it'll be in your documentation. But this is the parcel under review.
Okay. Mr. Vaughn, do we have that name pronounced right?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Vaughn?
Vaughn.
Vaughn, okay.
That's correct.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for hearing me out today. First thing I'd like to mention is that our house and all our structures are in Mecklenburg County, so we really don't use any of the Union County services. We have private trash, our fire stations in Mecklenburg, we use the CMS school district in Mecklenburg County. So we're really not, we're paying taxes, but we're really not getting any benefit from Union County. Secondly, the calculated property value, my understanding is that the property consists of a third of an acre, and 2/3 of that property is in Mecklenburg. However, the Mecklenburg property is valued at $46,000, but the Union County property is now trying to be valued at $73,000. So that's a lot more value for the amount of acreage. Since 2008 to last year, the property value has been somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000. This year, it's gone up to $73,000. It's a large jump. There are no structural improvements on the property, on the Union County property that's being reassessed. And according to the document that I submitted, the 25 SOV final document, on page 14, it clearly states that the property value cannot be modified based on inflation, deflation, or market adjustment. It can only be adjusted based on improvements to the land, which there have not been any.
Excuse me, where do you have that?
I had submitted it. I don't see it printed out. It's a fairly large document, but I did submit it in the zip file that I sent along.
Okay.
If you need, I can resend that.
No, that's fine.
Looking at just the Union County property, there is no access to it. It's in a utility right away. There really should be, it's a useless piece of property on its own. If I was to try to sell that, there's no way I could sell that for this amount of money that it's assessed for. You can't build on it. It's too close to any other properties. You can't really do anything with it. So $73,000 feels very high for that value. I looked at some of our neighbors behind us in Union County, their property values, and their values increased 2.9% in the past year. Ours is going up 1,200%, 12 times. In addition, seems to be a bit of a discrepancy as to where the Union County property line is. Looking at the public records, the property line runs just behind that last building on the property, the shed there. According to the document that I received from Greg Allman, the property line runs behind the carport, which is just behind the house. So depending on that, that's a variation in how much land is in Union County. But even so, it doesn't seem like, even with that much property, that increase in property, that the value should increase 12 times.
Okay.
In closing, I'd just like to mention that our property is not the only one in the neighborhood that's had this large increase in assessment, and I hope if you find for us that you will reassess their properties as well. It seems like our neighborhood was targeted for this particular reassessment.
Okay. With that, let me see if members of the board have any questions for you, Mr. Vaughn, okay? Mr. O'Keefe?
Yeah, just one question. You referenced something earlier. I was not able to find it in the packet in regard to the property line, I think you were referring? I've got a couple of pages here. Page 22
Yeah,
is the
so,
last.
not everything I submitted was printed out. I don't know where the rest of the documents are, but I had submitted this document from the Go Maps, which is public information, which clearly states the Mecklenburg Union County property line back here. The assessment that I received from Greg Allman after I was submitted shows, he indicates that the property line is this green line, which is
Yeah,
much
that's
further up.
my page 22 in that book, if you look at page 22.
Yep.
It's hard to see. It's down in the lower right-hand corner.
The page number
page
is,
number.
yeah.
Yep.
22.
I see it.
And that green line there, is that the,
That's the line that Greg Allman
gotcha.
sent me.
Just,
yes.
okay, thank you very much.
But the public records show that the line is much further back.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Smith?
Where would you say that line is? Is it where that blue line comes in, near the very back? Or somewhere in between?
I think, according to the public records, it's somewhere in between.
Okay. How much does Mecklenburg County say you have property in their county?
We were actually just trying to look that up, but I could not find that in their assessment.
And this is a total of how many acres?
I think about a third of it.
No, the whole property.
Yep. My understanding is
Well,
the
we
whole
don't-
property is a third of an acre.
The whole property is a third of an acre.
That's my understanding, yes.
So this would have to be a sixth of an acre maximum,
Well, I think
if I look at this?
what the county's showing is .31.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right. Yeah.
And the property behind you, is that technically in the county or is it in Weddington? The back part of your property?
That's Union County.
It is Union County,
Yeah,
it's
we're-
not Weddington Incorporated.
I'm sorry, our neighborhood is not incorporated
Okay.
on either side.
Because I know the property behind you is, that's why, that was my question.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mr. Benson?
Sir, you mentioned some years. You paid such from 1 year to what year period of years was that?
So, we've only been in the property for 7 years, but I looked at the tax records all the way back to 2008
2000, yeah, 2008
till
to
2024.
2024.
And the property value fluctuated between $6,000 and $6.9 thousand.
Okay. And you also mentioned the word targeted. By what level of targeted are you saying? Are you saying you believe that your neighborhood was intentionally targeted, or you just used targeted as a way to say this is what they assessed that area?
Yeah, when I was doing my research, I saw that there were several types of tax increases for property value increases. And there was a mass, I forget what it's called, it's a mass increase, just a general increase for the entire county. Looking at the tax bill, it didn't mention that it was a mass increase, a general increase. My thought was that it was targeted to the neighborhood or a specific area for this type of increase. And I didn't see anywhere else that was where the property values increased that much.
If you believe the neighborhood was targeted, why do you think it was, if you believe that?
Probably because it's right at the county line, and there's a, Mecklenburg and Union County property in that area, maybe because it's also unincorporated. I don't know, but those are just some guesses.
No, I only ask because targeted is a strong word.
I can rescind that. That worked.
Thank you.
Mr. Bong, I have one question, and I understand it complicates it maybe just a little bit with part of the land or part of the property being in one county and part in the other. But I think the way I kind of look at it, if all the improvements on that property were gone, if the house wasn't there and the other improvement towards the back, and you were just looking at the dirt, what do you feel that lot, that home site would be worth?
I'm not a real estate, I don't know, but the Mecklenburg side says it's 46,000. So at most, I suppose the entire property should be, double that at most.
Because, I mean, to me, that's about how you have to look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a home site, so,
Right.
but I know it gets a little confusing there with it being split into two counties, okay?
Right.
Let's have the county kind of present their information, if you would have a seat, and I'll circle back to you for any final questions, okay?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Y'all may remember this neighborhood. We heard from two more properties on the July 16th meeting. We had this same situation. And these properties did go up a lot in value. But if you'll turn to page 22, that's the map we printed off our ArcGIS. That green line is the Mecklenburg County line. I went on to the Mecklenburg County website. The total acreage for this parcel is .616 acres. .243 acres is in Mecklenburg County, and the remainder is in Union. So there's slightly more acreage in Union County than in Mecklenburg. When we valued the land, we used our rural acreage for the Weddington and Marvin area, which got to the original informal appeal value of $73,000. And when I reviewed it for this BER, what I did is I looked at as a whole. I went across the street. The subject is 2915 Butter Churn. I looked directly across the street to 2914 and 2922 Butter Churn. Those are .523 acres and .46 acres, same subdivision, completely in Mecklenburg County. They have $115,000 on all of their lot values. So I looked at it as a whole, and I did reduce it from $73,000 to $69,000. That brings the subject's total land value combined of Mecklenburg and Union to $115,000, which is equal to all the homes that are all in Mecklenburg County. They did their reevaluation in 2023, so it would be a 2023 land value based off of Mecklenburg County's reassessment.
Okay, questions, Mr. Benson?
Just to circle back, if you will, was there any intentionality of looking at that area to say, hey, this is an area that we need to check out real good, and, from a pointing them out from other areas kind of scenario?
No, sir. All land values in the entire county were repriced, and I think historically they've been very valued, and this time we brought them up to market.
How long have y'all may have realized that this property has been undervalued, and how long did it kind of take y'all to say, okay, we can no longer afford, for county's sake, to leave it that way?
Well, I worked on the land values this reevaluation, and this is my first time working on this time, so I can't speak to any prior reevaluations, but obviously we wanted to get everything up to market level countywide. So I can't tell you how long it may have been undervalued. I'm sorry, I can't speak to that.
No worries. Thank you. That's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Smith?
I believe he mentioned there's a power line right away through this property.
Yes,
Is
if
that
you'll look
correct?
Yes, if you look at,
On the wide bottom side, I guess you call it?
yeah, if you look at page 22,
Yeah.
all these orange lines running right here, right behind that parcel, that's the Duke Power right of way.
Is any on this property?
Not on this map, not from my art view. I can see, you can see
'Cause
the
it looks
power
like
lines,
it.
But
I'm just-
how it's mapped out as far as the Duke Power right of way, it falls right on that property line.
Okay. That was my question. Was any of it on the property or not to impair the property?
Right.
You don't think it does?
I don't think it would negatively impact it. The lots, if you kind of look, Climbing Rose is completely in Union County here behind them.
Right.
And 257, so I don't know if you can see this map. This is the parcel that's directly behind, so it's showing the, coming over further this way in the right of way. Sometimes with the perspective of the aerials, it's hard to tell exactly how the,
Well, that's why I'm looking at it. It looks like one place, it looks like part of it is on this side of the line, and the other looks like the other part of it's on that side of the line.
right.
Up between the blue line and what appears to be a fence.
Right.
Because if there is a power line between the blue line and the fence, there should be some impairment for that section, if it's there. I don't know if it's there or not.
Well.
I know where
into-
this is. I drive by it every day.
Right. But like I say, this is a .616 total acreage lot.
Right.
I looked at the value across the street. Those were .466 acres.
Yeah.
And .523 acres. So they are smaller than the subject.
Wait, excuse me, say that again.
The subject parcel is .616
Right.
acres. Directly across the street, the Mecklenburg County parcels are .523 and
Right.
.466 acres, so they're slightly smaller.
They're relatively comparable. And the ones behind it those are roughly half-acre lots, if I remember correctly.
They are, and we have, these right directly behind them, we have 176,250 on those lots.
Right. That would be appropriate for those lots, I'd guarantee you. This one's hard because I don't think it's in Weddington. I don't see how you could do anything with the land, but the only way you can look at it is as a parcel, overall, and divide the value between the two counties.
If this property's sold, it's gonna have to sell as a
It's going to
whole.
have to, you got to sell the whole thing or it can't sell.
Right.
Yeah, you can't subdivide it. It could not be divided. I don't see how you could. I don't think Union County would or Mecklenburg County would allow it, so there's no way to do that. So it is what it is. It's one parcel. Okay, thank you.
Mr. O'Keefe?
Yes, please, just going back to 22 again, the confidence level in that green line there is high. You've got .243 acres in Mecklenburg and .373 in Union County.
It looks like a very good visual representation of those two acreages to me, yes.
Okay, so you're confident that that green line represents the boundary?
Yeah, I know, I had looked with Mr. Vaughn earlier, that one of the photos he had, that it showed a line closer to the back. But just looking at it, this appears to look like it would be right, since there's slightly more acreage in Union than Mecklenburg. It looks accurate to me.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yeah, did I skip?
on the county line, that has been a topic of conversation for quite some time.
Right.
It reached a fever pitch a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
up and down the entire Union-Mecklenburg line, because there's places where it zigzags and crosses boundaries, and there's houses that are split. And so this green line on page 22 is the agreed-upon boundary that both Union and Mecklenburg tax offices use.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that is clear.
Think I
Because
was
if you
hearing
do
something.
look to the taxpayer's point, if you look on the old GO-map system that the county has online for GIS, there's actually 3 lines in certain places. There's what Union County at one point said was the line, is what Mecklenburg said was the line, is what the state said was the line. And so we've worked to come to a workable agreement at this point as far as tax purposes,
Right.
as to what portion of properties are recognized in which county. That green line represents that number.
Yeah, that helps explain it to me, because I was getting ready to ask, there ought to be a recorded plat, and that recorded plat ought to show exactly where the boundary is, shouldn't it? So, but
Should be.
that clarifies.
Should be.
what that
At that
clarifies.
time.
Yeah,
That's the problem, is at that time what
Right.
they thought it was.
thank you. But what he just said clarified it.
Mr.
It
Chairman.
clarified my question.
So if I can ask, since they calculated that new green line that we're talking about to be the line, can they not just change it so when people pull public records, they can see? Or is that just something that's a
It can't, the
mutual
county, the
agreement?
county, for tax
Between the
purposes, it's a mutual agreed upon line, and for other services. We can't just say that's the line without state action. There's a whole nother conversation that has to take place around that for it to be, quote, official, from a state historical public record standpoint. And that's beyond the scope of the tax offices.
But the line will hold legally, say for example, if a petitioner says, well, here's what the line shows on public records, but that agreed upon line would, the agreement that y'all had would hold up if challenged.
From tax purpose, yes, because there's no double taxation. We've got the acreage for that property as a whole divided up between the counties.
Okay.
And there's some places where the line is very tight. You can still see the different lines. The lines are very tight together. Some other places where it varies quite a bit more. But in this particular area, I think it's relatively close. Even though it's noticeable, I think it overall is relatively close. It's just a matter of how the counties, at the commission level and at the state level, are going to, at some point, resolve any discrepancies there.
But for tax purposes, you have a high confidence
Yes,
that it will hold?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
I will add one thing. Whether the overlay's off slightly or not, the acreage we're definitely confident in, because that came from the survey. We're getting the acreage. So the acreage amount we're confident in, whether that line, whether you're looking at it is slightly off or not, the acreage we're attacking them on, valuing on, we feel 100% confident on.
Right.
So between that agreement and what you all done, that's even a greater sense of security? Okay, thank you.
I do have one more question.
Mr. Smith has another question.
Looking at this picture here, and I know this area, it has two big power lines. One looks like it's off the property and one looks like it's on it. So there has to be some of the right-of-way on the property, if this picture is accurate. Because you can see the little silver lines coming, go between the blue line and what appears to be a fence. And then, but there's, see there and to the right. It looks like it's, the property line splits the right-of-way. And that would be my question. Is there a section of this that is in the right-of-way that should be impaired? That's the only question I have.
Yeah, and a lot of times on lots, if they're not severely impacted by the utility, we may not apply an influence to it. It depends, if it's a major impact. This one, it looks like it's running right on the line. I don't think it has a major impact on the property.
It
especially
looks like it
since this
runs
was-
between the fence and the line. That's the way it appears on the visual here.
Right.
And that is a high-power line. This is not just a power line. This is a big one.
I will add one thing, if I may. As far as being equitable, we are equitable. We haven't given any adjustments for any of the lots up and down in that neighborhood for any adjustments. So they are equitable.
Understand.
to their neighbors.
I just look at this and say, I see a power line, and it appears to be a right-of-way with a big power line, high voltage line, sitting above the property.
Yeah.
And I know in Weddington what that does to value.
Right.
This isn't Weddington, so I can't say that.
Yeah. Well, and I reckon to Mr. Helms's point, has the taxpayer been shown the properties that are similar to his, that are split by the Mecklenburg-Union County line, to kind of, Anyway, and we don't need to get into you showing him why we're doing this now, but I didn't know
Yeah.
through your discussion with him if he has
There's a whole string of
seen
them.
how
Yeah,
his
this-
neighbors are being treated. Yeah,
This whole street,
The whole street.
right. And like I said, we've dealt with a few of those already.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, we heard two of these on July 16th.
Right.
Yep. No, that was my only concern, was the power line. I understand everything else.
Right.
I just didn't know if there was going to be any consideration
You
for
know,
that, because I believe that there's a some width, I don't know how wide or anything else, that is a right-of-way versus regular, I call usable land, because it's not usable.
Like I
in a
say,
full
and
sense.
If we were to do influence, it would be based on those orange lines that you have on page 22. So I would,
Yep. But even then, you can see the power line showing off that yellow line.
Right.
So that gives me question.
I will add that depending on the angle, the
Yeah, I know.
flight and
That's what you
everything
can't tell. This is
Yeah,
a
it's-
visual,
Yeah.
and I have no idea without actually, somebody,
you can't tell if it's a little oblique or if it's
You
directly
got it.
straight down. It's
you
hard to
got it,
tell.
you got it. I'm just asking the question, in fairness, is what all I'm doing.
We are currently looking at a map, but it does show the actual towers are across the line, across the fence.
Okay.
That, we can tell that much. Now,
Yeah.
do some of the
Well, if
lines?
the towers are across the line, the lines are not gonna be across the line, so. That's fine. This visual showed me something different. And you can sometimes not believe your lying eyes, if you know what I'm saying.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Alman. Okay. Mr. Vaughn, any final comments from you before we move on?
Yes, I just want to address the power line issue. First of all, the fence is not on the property line. It is inside property lines, and when I live there, I can see what the lines are running right on the property line. Now, my understanding also is that Duke Power's right-of-way is not just under the power line. There is an easement on either side of the power line, which will cross over into my property.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we are going to move to hearing number 3. This is going to be for property key number 02095010. The taxpayer is Kimberly and Alan Tholen.
This property is located south of Marshville, and it is at the intersection of Flint Ridge Church Road and Lansford, right here on this corner. We're going to hear two. They own 010 and 010B, but this is 010.
Okay. Mr. and Miss, is it Tholen? Okay.
The H is silent, told.
Tolan, okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
On the 50010 is 8 acres, and the 10B is actually 3.5 acres.
Yeah.
All right.
And if
we
you
own-
would, it might be cleaner, I think, I don't know, maybe speak to the 5010 first.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, the 5010 is 8 acres, and that property, just for, both properties were bought together on the thing. But the 5010, actually, I'm not disputing the fact of the buildings, because they were lowered from 490 to 486. On the total, I'm sorry, the buildings went from 21,838 to 17,888. We're okay with that. The problem we have is the system, it does not perk. So where somebody else, on Chris Stevens, we had on there in 2020, when we built and put the house on it, $7,500 would have been the conventional system. We had to spend $18,496.83 and also spend $3,500 for an engineer just to get a septic system on there to have it correct. And I've talked to several of our neighbors, which you got in there, 4 of them. All of them have conventional systems. So our dispute is that the land itself should not be valued as much because it costs so much to live on the land. We could never sell it for that much, knowing that it does not perk, and anybody else can put a system on. So the difference of that thing is actually $14,496 is the difference just in putting the conventional system on compared to the engineered system that we have on there, which also occurs a $500 fee every year for 2 inspections. And also the spray field, it's a perk system, underground drip system. It actually encompasses 137 feet by 30 feet. You can cover the end with dirt for an extra one, but you'll always have them perk valves on there, which you'll have to keep your animals off or whatever you put out. So that's the big thing. The taxes, you know, we lived in a double wide forever on it. She owned the property for 40 years. The property was actually $158,400 was valued at that in 2021, and then it went to $336,70 when we built the house. And then now, as recently, went up to $490,100. And the big thing, that the current concern that we have is the cost of the septic system put it on compared to what everybody else can put a system on for. And that was the cost in 2020. The fact that we'd spent $21,996 to put a septic system on.
So your opinion of value is the 385?
What's that? The value?
Yeah. Your opinion of value, what I'm looking at is 385,000 versus,
Yeah, if you take that off, yes. Yeah, if you take off, the difference in the value is $14,496.
okay. Are you ready for the,
Yeah, for B
Okay.
is the same. Yeah.
okay. Questions, Mr. Smith?
Well, I see the issue with the engineered systems on a frequent basis, but they are basically become a cost of doing business to make a piece of property buildable, not detracting from the value, and that's the way,
Speaking, Mike.
that's the way we've seen it, you know, from where I come from, that builders are having to put these systems on. It actually increases the cost of the house, and in theory, increases the property value, not the other way around.
Right.
So I don't like them. I don't like engineered systems at all, but they do make a piece of property buildable. Otherwise, if you didn't have the engineered system, you couldn't have built the house, and you couldn't have, done what you're doing there. So it's an unfortunate that the extra cost is what it is.
Okay. Mr. O'Keefe?
No questions going to the county.
Mr. Benson?
No, my thinking was right along with Mrs. Smith's.
Okay. Mr. Tolan, let us, on this one, I kind of want to take them one at a time, and we may circle back and have some combined questions with it. But if you would, have a seat, and let's have the county present their information, okay? And then I'm going to circle back to both of you, okay?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So the majority of this appeal is surrounding the septic system. They did bring in an invoice or a statement, I think it is, from Stevens Septic this morning, and that was the additional documentation that Kristen provided. On page 42 of your booklet, that is really where all of the septic information starts. So you'll be able to see the comparable sales report there that we did. We went out on Friday and we reviewed the outbuildings and we adjusted those as the taxpayer mentioned, so that was actually reduced with condition and measurements and just updating. That's on 42.2 at the top there on our comparable sales analysis. You can see that. And on 42.4, under the analysis notes, which the taxpayer has this, obviously he quoted it, at the bottom there, you can see the adjustments that were made. We're still, the compra still supports the county's value. From 42.5 to 42.25, that's all the photos that we took while we were on the property. On 42.23, that is the tank system there. That's the photo of the tank system that we took. And then 42.24 and 25 show the septic field that he's mentioning that he has to, block off. The animals can't be on that. The neighbor's property, I included that so that you could see that I think he had spoken with some of the neighbors and conventional system, and we say neighbors. I wanted you to see where they were in relation to the subject property. So the 2 pages following that, the handwritten note is his information, and then the map following that, you'll see the placement of those neighbors. The information that he's speaking of for the invoices starts on 42.27. So that's his information there on the invoicing and the maintenance invoices that he provided. Of course, we do not have market data that would allow an adjustment for this, so that's why we're here today, for the county to review it. But the land and the everything else is in line with the neighbors.
Questions, Mr. O'Keefe,
I do not have any questions, thanks.
Mr. Smith?
I guess my only question would be, as this land is not very well perkable, it's, I assume the value is the house and land as undividable? That's the kind of my, undevelopable more than what it is. That would be my question.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, you can
it'd
see,
be
even on-
difficult to,
Right, it is. You can see on the map there and with what you have in front of you where the septic
yeah.
field lies on his property in that 8 acres.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I just want to make sure it's not being considered, oh, you could divide this into 4 or 5 parcels and get the higher value from smaller properties.
Correct.
You're
No,
not,
this
you're
is-
not doing that in this
We're
case.
not, no, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Benchen?
Ms. Dana, when you indicated that there was no marketable comparable, share a little bit what you mean by that.
So, as he mentioned, he called his neighbors to ask them what systems they have. So that's not data that we have that, this person has this conventional system or maybe this engineered system and it's called another type that's required, due to the perk sites. We don't have access to that information and we don't see that in a marketable way. There's, these properties are sold for their 8 acres, for their 3.5 acres, for their, 13.7 acres. And they sell, obviously we pulled vacant land sales and it falls in line with those. So they all have septic systems if they have houses here. It's just the differences of those, that is not something that we have information to. So it's not something that we can say, oh, well, this sold for this much because of this specific thing.
You may
That's not
not-
something that's isolated in the market.
You may not have like market data in that area, but you do have data to show that equal and comparable masses of land do sell well in that area.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay, and the people that buy these parcels, these pockets of land, buy them realizing the conditions of the land as far as the perkability or non-perkability.
I would think that the purchaser or buyer would need to do their due diligence for that information.
Okay.
That is
And
correct.
so, did your lowering from the 491 to the 486.2, was that you all's way of saying we can consider some of what the taxpayer is saying? Or what made you
No,
lower
that
it?
is strictly outbuildings. So we strictly went out to review the outbuildings on that property because it had been a while since those had been measured and updated. And we actually went with the taxpayers to each building and measured it together.
Okay, so that lowering really had nothing to do with the
Oh,
septic piece?
nothing to do with it, yeah. It's
Okay.
completely separate. We just updated that while we were there.
Okay. That's it for me, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
And I'm looking just at the land. I mean, it appears, unless I'm missing something, and it's maybe in here and I flip by it, the land's on there for about 13.3 per acre,
That's correct.
correct?
Yes, and it does fall in line with the remainder of the properties.
I was fixing to
And-
say, because you mentioned land comps, and I'm trying to think, do you know about where those land comps, did they come in? It sounds like,
Yes,
Yeah.
they did. They did come in. Everything around that area was spot on for land.
Right,
There was
okay.
nothing that seemed odd or, of course, they're all different acreages.
right,
So
right, I get that.
there's going to be a big variety there.
Okay. And I can maybe ask Mr. Tolan this when we, on any final questions. The $14,000 discrepancy he was talking about, can you clarify what that is?
That is, I believe, what he's saying is, with the cost of the septic, the $18,000 invoice and the $3,500 invoice is the $21,496.83.
Right.
That minus what Kristen passed out to you from Stevens Septic. He had
Gotcha.
said 6,500 to 7,500 for the conventional. So the difference there is about the $15,000 that he's the 14,986.
Okay. And then I'll clarify my next question to the taxpayer. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Ms. Chastain.
Mr. Chairman, may I
Yes.
add something?
Yes.
Just for clarity, for how we have to look at it is, on any raw piece of property,
Yeah.
when you get ready to build, there's costs to build. And it may have cost more for this septic system than a conventional. But like, as Mr. Smith said, it's cost of doing business to get the home, and he has cured that issue. So that issue has been cured on that property, so we don't see it as an impact on market value, the
Right.
marketability of it. Just as properties, some require more grading than others, that could easily go into $10,000, $14,000 for grading. So all properties are different and require different improvements to accommodate a home. And once those improvements have been done to the property, then the issue's been remedied.
Right. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so you're saying that doesn't, Mayor?
Yeah, you can.
So you're saying that doesn't raise that to a unique situation?
Correct.
Okay.
Just to add on that, in a rural area, the county, if you remember back in the 90s and 2000, lots of mound systems, pressure systems. It's not unique to Union County.
Right. I agree. I've dealt with it. Mr. Tolan, if you could come back, do you have any final questions as it relates to this property?
Yeah, I just have one final thing. I know you're looking at the cost if a builder gets it.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at even the 3.5 acres that right there, it is a thin piece of land. To put a system on there is almost impossible even for a builder to do it. And I know you said a builder gets it and it increases the cost, but we as a person owning it, trying to sell it to somebody, you'd say, wait a minute, I cannot put nothing on that piece of land. It's too thin on that 3.5 acres, which you said was 13,000, but the land, the 3.5 acres is valued at 19,142 an acre on it, because it's valued at 67,000. So I implore you not to look at the cost of what the builder could do to it. It's hard for me to sell it to a builder or sell it to somebody else. When we try to go to downsize, the taxes on it is gonna be hard for me to sell it to somebody else. I know you say the cost isn't, but the cost is the value of it is gonna go down, trying to get rid of that land.
Okay.
That's all I say.
Okay. I'll have you, maybe just, since you've got the next one, maybe stand there, and
Yeah.
then everybody good? And
Yep.
then we can move on to the next one, Madam Clerk.
Yeah, we'll have the county locate the property for you.
True.
though. So
Okay.
if, we'll do that, but this will be for hearing number 4, which is going to be for property key number 02095010B, also for Mr. Tolan.
Yes, that's the same thing I'm saying. That's 3.5 acres. It is a long stretch out piece of land, and is the chance of putting a septic system in there from one side to the other is very impossible. The end is all woods on the end all the way back, and the front, there is no entrance coming into that 3.5 acres there. It is just part of the other land. So you would have to sell it as another one. There's no way you could even sell it to a builder, I don't believe, because there's no way you could put an engineered system on there, 3 of them, and get a road all the way back to it. It's a very thin, narrow piece of land from one side to the back. Probably, I don't have the exact, but maybe 100 feet, maybe less than 100 feet across the front there that goes to Lansford Road.
Okay.
But that is valued at $19,142 an acre. It's $67,000 in taxes.
It's just basically horse property. We just
Yes.
use it for the horses.
Right, okay,
Yep.
okay. And let me see if members of the board have questions. Mr. Benson, any questions?
Yet formulating, Mr. Chairman, yet formulating.
Okay. I can come back to you if you want to.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Would y'all say basically the land value per acre of this should be even to the adjacent property that we just talked about?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's 19,142 right now, I think.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. O'Keefe?
I've got nothing right now, thanks.
Yeah. Then I reckon the question I have, on that property, are you saying it doesn't perk?
No, it was bought originally by my wife in 1984, and it was all bought together as one piece of land. And that's, it doesn't perk on the
Do
system.
you
That's why
have
it's been
any-
horse property ever since, whether it owned by Don Underhill, and then we purchased it back from them and put our horses on it.
Do you have documentation from the health department as it relates to
Now, you
it
wouldn't
not
unless you're
perking?
gonna build
No,
it.
we would have to have it tested, and there was no time in between this and getting it tested before we had this meeting. Go ahead.
I just would like to say that in 1984, Union County told me I couldn't live on that property. So we went to the state, and we had a state permit. They had to put up, I spent $10,000 putting a state septic tank on it. And yeah, I was supposed to, in the permit, it said I needed to switch over to the sewage because they had plans back then to run it down Lansford Road. That never happened.
Right.
So I've had that to 2020, and I've had 2 soil scientists out there trying to get a local system, which is the one that we finally did get, though.
Right, right. So you did have a soil scientist
Yeah,
take,
Thompson.
yeah, okay,
Thompson came out. He's the one that did our engineering for the
Okay.
septic system we have now.
okay, okay. Mr. Benson, come back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You indicated that at one point, both properties were one property?
Yes. She had, it's off thing, but she went to school and had to separate with that property for a while for Underhill, and he just kept it.
He just
as
kept it
a-
for horses.
Yeah.
And then we bought it back.
We had a chance to get it back to have a little more land, so we did to have a little more land for the horses.
So when you bought it back, you didn't try to bring it back as just one property?
No, no. No, that's what we would have to do is, the cost of the survey and have it as one property. If we ever had to sell it, you'd have to sell it individually, like I say, or say you're gonna buy this piece and you'll get this piece too, and then put the price on it for it.
That was it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. If you don't mind, Mr. and Ms. Tolan, let us hear from the county. If you would have a seat, and we'll let them present their information.
Hello. So on page 26, that's the land analysis for this property, and that's where you will see it is priced higher. The acreage is smaller, as we know. The price per acre goes up the smaller the acreage usually. So that is why it is falling in that price per acre versus the 8-acre parcel on where their main house is located. So the median price within that section, from 2 acres to 4.12 is $19,637 per acre, and they are $18,901.
Right. Okay. questions, Mr. O'Keefe?
Is perking an issue in this part of the county? Would it be a known thing, I guess is what I'm getting at? I know it is around my house.
It has to be tested. It's not unusual for Union County to have land that doesn't perk, but you have to test it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Question, if the owner decided to merge these two plots, then what would you end up doing, value-wise? Because they could simply do that, I mean,
Yeah, so the acreage would increase.
and then the
obviously.
value would go down.
Per acre.
It would behoove them to do that, basically, in y'all's calculation world.
Larger acreage
Yes. Normally is
Is-
less.
a less price per acre, yes,
Yeah,
correct.
thank you.
And I'm thinking along that same line that Mr. Smith is, his opinion of value and where the county is kind of gets to that, doesn't it? And I can clarify that with the taxpayer. I mean, his opinion of value is 42,000, which is a little more than 13 something per acre. And maybe, and I'll clarify that with Mr. Tolan, he's maybe calculating that off his existing
It could be.
acreage on the neighboring acreage, okay? Any discussion on the perk, I mean, I'm still kind of, maybe I'm missing something there, I mean, with
No,
everything they
it-
talked about with the soil scientists and all that.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
if
so
they,
if there's no perk and there's documentation provided that it doesn't perk at all.
Right.
then the county has can observe that as an influence.
right, and typically that influence is it
25%.
25% on the whole parcel?
Correct.
On the whole
Yes,
parcel?
correct.
Okay, okay. Mr. Benson, any questions?
No, the other board members, especially Mr. Smith, is kind of going where I was going in the beginning about combining
Combining the deeds.
the property.
Yeah.
It just seemed that might get them from underneath some of the burden, but it seemed as though that they themselves like the fact of having two separate parcels. But that's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chastain.
Thank you.
Mr. and Ms. Tolan, do you want to come forward with any final comments? And
I don't have any, just that, what he was saying, that yes, it's two different properties, but when we financed the house, we financed it with just an 8 instead of having a 3.5.
yeah.
You put them together, you have all of that in the loan together. Now it's just with the 8 acres, not with the 3.5.
And I think, to clarify it, and I'm not absolute, I think you could still combine the deeds, and it should not affect your financing. The mortgage holder would still just have the 8. But,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah, and you could ask them before you do it, but that, what Mr. Benson and Mr. Smith were alluding to, it may behoove you to maybe check with an attorney and maybe have the deeds combined. Maybe Ms. Chastain could maybe shed some light on what that could possibly do to the per acre value of this tract, okay? So you might want to kind of get a rough idea of how it's all going to affect you before you go through the exercise of doing it, okay? But it wouldn't take effect until next year, okay, on that. So, any additional comments you have, or?
No, that's all I had. I just
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you all very much, okay?
All right, we will move to hearing number 5. This is for property key number 09247045. We'll have the county locate the property. This is from Michael and Cindy Garcia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So this property is located off of Griffith Road. You can access it from 74 to Sunset and, off the exit of Skyway, Sunset, and then off of Griffith Road. This is Griffith Road here. And here's Griffith Road, and you turn on then Winding Brook Road.
Okay.
There's the parcel.
know about where that is, okay? Thank you, Ms. Wiggins. And Mr. Garcia, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I
morning.
am recovering
Oh, okay.
from that whole viral stuff that's been going around. So
Okay.
if you hear me cough, I've got a pack of Halls, so excuse me if I grab some water. But good morning,
Gotcha.
leaders. Thank you so much for your time and consideration today. My name is Michael Garcia. I am a leadership trainer for Spectrum by day. I am a husband and father of twin 2-year-old girls by night. And in my spare time, I'm looking at property values as an actively licensed North Carolina real estate broker since 2016. So I do have an understanding of property values. I am in the business. And with that, I come to you today to ask for a reconsideration on this reassessment. Now, I'll be honest, when I put my packet together, the 34 pages of documents here, I came in thinking I was going to go full-blown on all the egregious errors that were missed on the comparables. And then I started looking deeper into the word condition. For some reason, my home went from 2023 to 2024 to very good condition. And there was no explanation. I thought when I received that assessment that that was the new reassessment. So I didn't fight it. I understood property values go up. It went from 254 to 293. And you'll see that in my summary page, which I'm looking at this document, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure how it relates, where my printout is, but let's see if I can find it. Go up. Page 15. Page what?
Page 15.
Thank you. There you go. So page 15 going into 16, I guess that would be our page 1 here. This page right here. I tried my best to lay it out for y'all to see some numbers to compare. And you'll see that on the bottom in red is my property. In 2023, it was at 254. That's the property value that the county had when I bought it. And then it was reevaluated in 2024, and it went to 293. And then from 2024 to 2025, it went from 293 to 435 almost. That blew my mind, and that is why I decided to appeal. When I appealed, I spoke to the appraiser in my email about the condition, because to me, I think that is the biggest determining factor. You have to look at the home. My home, and I'm going to use the mouse here, so if you look at my property, even though it is 1 acre, right, about half of the acreage is wooded, and all of my property, by the way, is downsloping. From the front of the road all the way down to the back of the property line, which as you can see, it's an irregular property line. This portion of the house, so you see where my mouse is, all the way up to about here, going this way and down, is a low-pressure system septic leach field. Now, I heard someone say that that doesn't affect value. I can tell you that if I take a buyer to a property and it has a low-pressure system, and I have to tell them, hey, every 6 months, you're going to have effluent pumped out of the front of your house. And that smell is going to sit there. And your animals and your kids are going to have to be careful when they walk. That's going to affect value. That wasn't taken into consideration. My appeal was denied. I also have crawl space issues. I sent to the county the estimate from Drag Pro of about $30,000. I've got humidity issues in the crawl space. I've got water flowing in. I've got bathroom issues. I mean, I could go on and on about condition and why I think it's fair. But you can see in the documentation that I provided that it's definitely not very good. And the reason why I highlight this is because if you look at the comparables that were used in the first report that Ms. Wiggins gave me, that adds value to the comparables by $20,000. So it makes a comparable worth $20,000 more than what it normally is. Meanwhile, it's not taking into consideration anything that I mentioned. So I think that was something that needed to be looked at. Outside of condition, there are other facts that were completely ignored on the comparables. For example, school zones. I mean, any homeowner, any buyer in 2021, if I told you, hey, you can go from a 2 out of 10 rated school to a 7 out of 10 rated school for a difference of $200 a month, would have jumped on it. Because in 2021, interest rates were 2.5%. My house is 2.25. I'll never sell it, right? But that particular piece of information was completely ignored in the comps. Other things that were ignored, things like bathrooms. My house has only 2, not 2.5, not 3, 2. There are comps that were listed on the county site that showed 2, but when you look at the MLS and you look at the listings, you look at Zillow, you'll see that these properties have had more bathrooms that were completely disregarded. Even things like front porches were not even taken into account, or enclosed decks. Features that add value when you are going to sell or buy a home were ignored or disregarded. So again, there's issues with the condition of my home that I ask you to take into consideration, that I think my home should be rated as a fair condition, which would, I think, drop it down at least $40,000 from whatever value is determined that they're gonna present here in a moment. And then there's also the details of the comps that are being used. Yesterday, when I got home from work, after taking care of the girls and putting them to bed around 9:30, I look at the email Ms. Wiggins sent me, and I look at the new value, so it went down from $435 to $392. My ask was $355, my original ask. So it feels like, okay, they're trying to meet me halfway. Let me look. So I spent all night sucking down tea in halls, looking at the comps. And again, major details, just completely ignored. For example, one comparable. It said it had 2,000 square feet and an unfinished basement of 1,000 square feet. You look at the listing, you look at the pictures, the basement is finished and it's included as heated square feet. So it's not 2,000 square feet, it's 3,000 square feet, which means there's an $81,000 deduction that needs to happen to that comparable to bring that value down. And when you look at the new comps that you'll see, it actually brings the averages down, when you look at the adjustments, to about 343. Honestly, as much as I'd love to take all the time that I get to talk, me being a leadership trainer, I have a lot more talking to do at my job. It's what I do every day. I'd rather just let you look at the facts. I'm here to answer any questions you have, and I'll do my best to answer them as clearly as possible.
Okay. With that, Mr. Garcia, let me see if members of the board have any questions. Mr. Smith?
No.
Okay. Mr. O'Keefe?
I'm tempted to drill down to $81,000. You
Yeah.
just rolled that out at the end.
I can
don't-
tell you how I got there.
Yeah, could you do it in like a minute?
I can do it in 30 seconds.
Excellent, let's roll.
$78 a square foot is what they valued the property difference. So if you look at, just to give you an example. All right, so if you look at the next page after the summary, you'll see on comp number 1.
Gotcha.
The main area of the subject property being my house is 1996, and the comp number 1 is 1673. They gave an adjustment of a value up of $25,200. So you take the difference of 1996 minus 1673, that number, right? So you divide 25,200 by that number, and that'll get you $78 a square foot. So you take $78 a square foot, or 78.34, whatever it was, per square foot, multiplied by the 1,000 square feet of that unfinished basement that was actually finished.
Okay.
That's how you get to
Yeah,
81,000.
okay, good. So it's an unfinished basement that is a finished basement
It's
that
heated
may or
square
may
feet.
not be finished.
No, it's finished. You can see it in the pictures. In the pictures of the comparable that they have. I didn't get that document until yesterday, Mr. O'Keefe.
Okay,
Yeah, so you
Thank
won't
you.
see that in there.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Benson?
Thank you for being here today. Did you buy this house or did you have it built?
I bought this house, and I will tell you, Mr. Ben, when I bought this house, I had to do it. If you look at the definition of market value, according to the North Carolina general statutes, it says a price that a willing seller and a willing buyer are willing to pay under reasonable conditions with no compulsions. In 2021, everybody was compulsive, right? Because you couldn't buy a house without putting in an offer over asking price. The asking price of my house was $309, I had to pay $320. When I bought the house, I had a septic inspection done, and the septic inspector told me, no, everything's fine, everything looks good. Turns out that he didn't know that those pipes sticking out of the ground, the septic inspector, were actually clean-out pipes. Didn't tell me that. Had he told me that, I would have probably either renegotiated or maybe even walked away. It would have been hard to walk away because my due diligence fee was $5,000. So walking away would have been tough. But now, 4 years later, when I do some research. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Because my parents had to move from Florida to here. I was going to move them into my garage. I was going to have the garage rebuilt, redone. I had the county come out and inspect the property. They said, sorry, your land doesn't perk to expand anything. You couldn't even add another bathroom or bedroom to your home. I said, okay. So I investigated further. I have a full low-pressure system that needed a whole new pump, which I had installed, and then it needs to be cleaned out, as you heard, every 6 months. And when you walk out of your home after a clean out and all you smell is effluent, that septic system is definitely a deterrent and will bring down value. I don't know one buyer that would be like, yeah, you know what, that doesn't bother me. I just don't.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Before we hear from the county, Mr. Garcia, you bought the house
2021.
2021. Have you made any major improvements to
No,
it
sir.
during that time since
No,
you
when I
bought
bought
it,
the
or-
property, it was sold prior to me a year before
Yeah.
to a local sheriff.
Okay.
The person that sold it to the sheriff had done some modifications, right? They updated it.
Right.
And by updating it, I think they, what you would call, they made it look pretty. I mean, I don't want to say anything crazy. What is it, putting lipstick on a pig, that kind of
Yeah.
thing? You know, they painted the cabinets to make them look new. Now all the paint is peeled away. The bathrooms, they use the cheapest grade bathroom inserts, and now when you shower, the water falls down onto the drywall, causing mold, and now the drywall has to be replaced, and I have to get those redone. So I have to get the whole new inserts or new
You're kind of
showers
telling me
done.
what I need to know. You didn't do a major renovation
No,
on the inside,
no.
or it wasn't majorly
No.
renovated before, right
No,
before
my
you bought
biggest
it?
major renovation was hanging TVs.
Right, okay.
That's
Okay.
it. Yeah. And now setting up a baby room, so that's it.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, let's have a seat.
sir.
Let us hear from the county, and I'll circle back to you for any final comments. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms.
Morning.
Wiggins.
Okay, I'll start off by saying that Mr. Garcia, he did purchase the property in April of 2021, which is a reval year for us. The listing price was $309 and he brought it for $320. So he paid over the asking price. On the property, it was listed, it had a new roof, new gutters, new windows, new plumbing fixtures, new toilets, new water heater, fresh paint, new carpet. It was everything new. So during the reevaluation year, it was upgraded from average to the very good condition. The house was built in the early 1980s, so that's how we accommodate for renovations being done to a property. When we first, he did his appeal on the informal level, I tried to find comps, I did the comparable sales report, and I went outside the neighborhood pretty far to get homes that looked exactly like his that had some renovations. And that's when that could be found on page 118. The first comp came in at 447. So when we got to the initial formal review, considering some of the information that Mr. Garcia had told me about his property, he talked about the condition that he felt like his property wasn't in very good condition. So I redid a comper, reran it, and that comper is on page 116. And that comper came in at the 392. He gave information about the Dry Pro to make some corrections to the crawl space. But when talking to him, he didn't have issues. I think it was more of a just in case or in preventative measurements. He doesn't have mold, no wood rot that he mentioned. It was just something that he was going to take in consideration because of the downslope of the water. And that's about all I have. I mean, the condition was very good. new is all through the MLS on the past that he had. So he brought the property in very good condition, and that's all we have now. I was very considerate in going down to my last three comps on the page 116 was average, and a fair, which gave us the 392. All are 2024 sales, and all are within his neighborhood. And that's all I have.
Okay, let's see if there's questions from the board. Ms. Wiggins, Mr. Benson?
No, Mr. Chairman, not at this time.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
So on 116, these are all in the neighborhood?
The two of them are in the neighborhood. One is like within like that, what it says, a mile, less than a mile.
Same school district?
Yes, all in
Okay.
Monroe.
That was my concern about some of the other ones were outside of the
Yeah.
school
That's
district.
kind of where I was going to, yeah.
Yeah, because there is a
No,
difference between.
they're in the neighborhood, same school district.
Yeah, these are all same school district, and that was my question.
Okay. Mr. O'Keefe?
Nothing right now, thanks.
Okay. And so the current value of the 392 is based on the analysis on page 116?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Got you there. Thank you, Ms. Wiggins. Okay. Mr. Garcia, any final comments?
Yes. Interrupt 1 second. Can I ask what, I'm sorry?
Yes.
We just wanted to clarify a situation. The owner mentioned that the comp 3118 Crow had a basement. He may have misspoken. I just looked at the listing itself, and there's no basement in the listing on MLS. So
Okay.
he may have been talking about another property there, but that one.
Well, I'll
doesn't-
ask him to clarify that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
okay.
So I'm actually talking about comp number 2, 2108 Louise Drive, which was valued at 417.8. If you look, and again, talking about condition, if you look at the, and can I ask what page was that, where, of the new report?
Yes,
that you have?
stay to the mic there if you could, or a little.
What
yeah, there.
page is the new report?
117.
117?
16.
116, I believe. I think
Oh, 116.
we're- the county's current value
Yes.
is based on the analysis on page 116, is the way I understood it. Yeah, that's going by the red numbers there. Sometimes those hole punches go right through the page.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm looking,
It does
I'm
show
looking
a
at
basement.
this report here, this page. Y'all see this? I don't know if this is 116 or 117, but it's got my property along with the 3 subject properties that they now have with the 392. Y'all see that? Can I ask what page is that, just for clarification for everybody else?
Well, wait a minute.
116, they
116,
took
Mr.
off for the
Chairman.
basement.
116, okay.
Yeah,
So I have-
page
I have-
116 has 1420 Hickory,
Yes.
2108 Louise Drive, and
Yes.
1320 Crown.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So when I spoke about the basement, because I didn't want to go through my 15 minutes talking about comparables that were no longer being used.
Right.
I started going into the new comps. And I sent the email to the clerk, but again, I didn't get done looking at these properties till about 12:30 last night. I sent the updated information to Ms. Wiggins. I asked her if she got it, she said she didn't. But I looked at those comps, and again, if you look at comp number 2, 2108 Louise Drive, this home's basement is finished. You can see it in the pictures of the listing. That adds 1,036 square feet of living space. And if accounted for at the $78.57 per square foot that they used, that's $81,400 that needs to be lowered. Also, this home has 3 baths, not 2. Again, errors that are just being ignored. And I don't know if the county is not looking at the MLS, if they're not looking at the listings, but as an appraiser, I would think that they have to, because, in fact, Ms. Wiggins just confirmed that they did, because she said that my listing had knew this, knew that, knew this, knew that. And by the way, my gutters, somebody chose to run my gutter through my foundation.
Yeah.
So I have a corrugated pipe going underneath my crawl space, leaking water. So when you say, you know, it's new, like I said, somebody put lipstick on a pig, and I just happen to need a home because I was under contract under my home, had a wife who fell in love with the inside and didn't care about anything else. So just please understand that, you know, don't just look at the words, look at the facts.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
And I looked at the facts. This home has 3 baths. And so that, when you look at that, I valued that at 321, not 417. And then if you go to 1320 Crown, this one, the condition is fair. And I think that's the condition of my home. When I look at the pictures of 1320 Crown, and I see what the inside of that home looks like, their bathroom looks like something out of the Hilton. It looks amazing. And again, that wasn't considered. So there's condition issues. They also have a third bathroom, again, completely ignored. There's living area issues because the MLS requires for us to have our properties measured by a professional measurer anytime we list them. So that square footage needs to be adjusted. And when I totaled that out, my adjustment number for that property was 357,650. And then on the 1420 Hickory, there is again, the discrepancy with Hickory is only on the word average, where it says condition, mine is listed as very good, and then the condition of that home is average. I'm saying my home should be fair. My home should not be very good. And if you take that into account, that would drop $15,100 at least from the 366,825, bringing it down to 351,725. And if you average those all out, it comes out to 343,458. Here's the crazy thing for me as well. I look at the actual market values of the properties being used as comparables. And all of them, 355, 356, 373. These are the new 2025 reassessed values. How is my home worth more than all of them?
Well, and we'll get into that during the deliberation phase. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
With the condition. I would make a point though, I mean, when you're on the topic of that basement, I mean, in their sales analysis, they deducted that out of that value for the basement.
So they did it as an unfinished basement though. If you
Yeah.
look, they only put it for $2,000. They didn't deduct it for.
I'm showing 20,000, 21,000.
Let me look at it again.
Yeah, it was 21,000.
Yeah, they unfinished basement. That one has an unfinished basement, and they adjusted.
Correct, yes.
They
20,000.
adjusted it down $21,000 to bring it more in line with yours.
But it's not unfinished.
Yeah.
It needs to be counted as finished.
Yeah.
That is heated square feet with walls, plugs, floors. I can put a pool table, a couch, I can relax, I can put a bedroom down there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the pictures of the listing, it's not unfinished. It's not something that, like, I would gladly put my parents in that basement to live with me.
Okay. And like I said, we'll take all that information that you've given us plenty of information.
I
here,
try,
okay?
yeah.
And I appreciate it, and, when we get into the deliberation phase, and then you'll be notified within about 30 days from the county. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Uh-huh.
Chairman, do we want to take a 5, or do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I think y'all, 5-minute break. Yeah, let's recess for about 5 minutes.
All right, we'll
Okay.
take a 5 minutes.
So if you didn't hear, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. Okay. We'll go ahead and reconvene.
All right, we will move on to hearing number 7. This is going to be for property key number 061470220F. The county will locate that property for you now.
Okay.
And this is going to be for the taxpayer, Mr. Michael Teal, and he is present.
All righty.
Is that good for y'all?
Yes. Okay. Where is this? Mr.
Yeah,
Acton?
sorry. If you look at page 10, there's a map. It's off of Providence Road and Hemby Road. If you're coming south on Providence Road, take a left on Hemby Road, and it's out there on the left.
Okay,
So it's not far from the Mecklenburg County line
right, okay.
to the north, Hemby Road to the south.
Is it in a development?
It is, it's a street there. It's,
That's Avery Court, I read.
I think there's about 8 houses maybe on Avery Court,
Right,
maybe more. Let's see.
okay.
6, there's 6 houses out there. So looked it up earlier, they're all excellent, minus to excellent graded.
Gotcha, we're good there, okay?
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Acton. And Mr., is it teal?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, just like the color.
okay, there we go, all right.
Or how it's pronounced.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay,
Thank you for taking the time to look over the assessment of my home. Based on the information that you see, you probably can tell that the appraisal of my home increased by about 60%. But that's not why I'm here. I'm just here to try to dive into the comps, and I believe that a fair assessment for my home as of the 1st of January should be $1,187,000. I love my home, so it's hard for me to say that it's not valuable, but my first point is that it is the smallest, lowest elevation, and the last purchased home in this neighborhood. The builder on the left of my home and the builder to the right of my home and mine were all different builders. And this could also show that we shouldn't appraise each with a blanket approach because they are quite a bit different. And when my wife and I built this home, we were very price conscious. The first set of plans that we got, it was just too expensive to build out, so we threw it out. And we opted for a shape that is mostly a rectangle. You can see that on the map. And we did that because it reduces the cost to build the home. It also lacks any HOA amenities. This is not an HOA whatsoever. And I also found an oversight on the county's comp number 3. Additionally, Greg Allman of the Union County stated that all the houses are rated excellent or excellent minus in the neighborhood. But with our lower cost home, I believe there's a reason that the quality assessment ended up taking a blanket approach, and that shouldn't have been the case. So to try to be as fair as possible, I picked comps from 2024 to give an objective calculation. I believe my comps are somewhere here. Which page number should I be on?
I believe your information
well,
starts
where
on
I
page
am
16.
right now is on page 17, kind of at the
Okay.
beginning of your, I think your information starts on page 16, and look at the red numbers. And my red numbers are in the
Oh, yeah.
upper right-hand corner.
17.
I see 11 and 120.
So it looks like the beginning of your information maybe starts on page 16.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's great to be on the same page.
There you go.
All right. So and we want to look at what a prospective buyer would look at. So a prospective buyer kind of determines that fair market value. So the certain criteria that our home fit, I went into Zillow, which is that most popular real estate platform, and I went 1 to 5 acres, no HOA fee, 3,500 to 5,000 square feet, 4+ bedrooms, and sold in 2024. I believe that is the criteria that my home fits under, and that what a willing buyer could potentially look at as well. So for the first home that we look at, we see it is about $1.5 million. It does have a pool, so obviously that increases the value of the home. Pool estimate would be about $100K, so if you take that off, the average is to 1.4. And I go through the process of 4 different homes here that fit this criteria and that were sold in 2024. And I also wrote out the calculation per square feet of each of those, which is what a prospective buyer would likely look at. And of the above 4 homes, the average price per square feet is $288.50. So if I take that and multiply it by the amount of square feet my home has, you have the reasonable value of $1.186889 for the value of that home. So that is my proposed value of the home. And the reason why I did it price per square foot, another reason is just because of what the North Carolina general statutes say for the standards for appraisal and assessment, that we are supposed to have, it's supposed to be
Stay on the
appraised
mic.
and valued at its true value in money. And if we go down a little bit.
Mr. Teal, if you
Yes.
could kind of stay on the mic, you might have to turn that mic a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
or.
okay. All right. So, the words true value shall be interpreted as meaning market value. That is the price estimated in terms of money at which the property would change hands between a willing and financially able buyer. And a financially willing and able buyer usually uses Zillow and puts in specific criteria, such as, they're looking at the price per square foot, the number of bedrooms, how large that home is it in an HOA? And those things end up mattering. And so that's how I got to that value. Now I'd like to discuss the county's comps as well. So if you flip over to the next page, I show why I dispute the county's comps. And if we look at my home, they ended up using the picture of the back of my home, which has the porch that's sticking out. So it makes it look like it's less rectangular. But, just by looking at the top of the home, I think that's also evident. And my general contractor also confirmed that using this type of shape is most cost effective. My home is primarily stucco, which also makes it more cost effective. And so I think the quality assessment is also incorrect. I was told that all the homes in the neighborhood are within excellent or excellent minus, and there are 14 possible quality assessments. So the probability of any home getting 1 or 2 of those assessments would be 2 in 14, or simplified as 1 in 7. Now, I know that 3 of the homes had different builders, so if I was a betting man, I would bet that at least one of those homes would be out of that 1 in 7 chance. But if you computed the odds, that would be a 5% chance of any of those homes being assessed at the same quality. Now I'll move on to talking specifically about some of the comps here. Point number 2 there, we have the Seth Drive home. It has a heated saltwater pool and spa, and so this could add $100K to the home's value. It doesn't appear that this is being taken into account, and my home does not have that extra valuable item as well. Seth Drive and Kings Manor are in HOAs, which can add 10% to a home's value. my home is not in an HOA. Then Lock Haven Road is an oversight that I found from the county assessment office. I have the same issue as Mr. Garcia that came here earlier to talk about how we're being assessed or compared to homes that have finished basements, but in the comps, it's saying it's unfinished. So I took a quote from Zillow's listing to show you just like how much more value this home has. The fully finished walkout basement features 10-foot high ceilings, gas fireplace, sauna, rec room, and 2 full baths and flex room. And so that extra selling point, it is a selling point because it was actually written into a listing, is not being taken into account by the county's comps. They call that an unfinished basement, but the sales copy here says it actually is a finished basement. And then, so I did provide this information, and Greg Allman got back to me, and he calculated out what my comps would be using their calculation method. Let's see if that's in here or not. Let's see. Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
see the email on page 20. Kind of maybe starts on 19 or 20. There's a correspondence between you and Mr. Almond.
Yeah, so I will say that I don't see the actual attachment here that was sent in the email. So the 4 comps that I sent over, the 4th comp that was on there, they ended up giving an 87% gross adjustment on the Antioch property. And, typically, I believe that type of a growth adjustment level would be thrown out and not be considered a comp. So even if we use the county's calculation method and we just threw out the outlier, comp number 4, and we averaged those 3 homes, according to their calculation, my home should be valued at about 1.478. And that is significantly, somewhat lower than their proposal or their assessed value as well.
Okay.
So, just in summary, I believe that my house should be valued at 1.188 by using the price per square foot method. And with that, I thank you for reviewing
Yeah,
my
let me
details.
see if the members of the board have any questions. I've got 1 or 2, but Mr. O'Keefe,
Not right now, thanks.
Mr. Smith.
On your assessment, you don't show when these houses were built.
Well,
You just,
that
you
is
just show
correct.
dollars and square foots or whatnot. That's what you're doing basically. And your house is a new build house, relatively. I call it new build in the last 4 or 5 years.
yeah, technically last decade.
Because I know the
Maybe
first one
about
on
6 years ago.
Longleaf Court was built in the 80s. It's been updated and all, but that would be problematic. And you're in I call it a small, nice new neighborhood. These are scattered through older neighborhoods, which makes it problematic in my opinion.
According to the information I have on our neighborhood, there was a developer that went in, he started building a couple of homes, and he went bankrupt, and then just basically sold the rest of the land for what he could get out of it. And so, like the 3 or 4 homes on the street, yeah, they're fairly similar, but the last 2 homes on the cul-de-sac, they're completely different. We just bought the leftover land and developed there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Benson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Teal, you mentioned a couple of times about the diversity of builders. To I want to make sure I understand your ferreting that out as far as the diversity, the different builders and how that would affect where were you headed with that? Or what did you believe that, how did you believe that had an effect on this situation?
Yeah, yes, I understand, it may have been a bit confusing there. So my home is right here. We had a builder. I have a neighbor right here. He has a swimming pool and a larger home. It's a different builder. And then this neighbor here, also a different builder. Now, the information that I received from the county is that all 6 homes in this neighborhood are rated on the quality standard as excellent or excellent minus. And my point of bringing that up is that it appears that a blanket approach was taken to assess these homes in the neighborhood, because the probability of them all receiving almost the same quality assessment is extremely low when we had, basically a bankruptcy, and then there are different homes that were built by different builders. They shouldn't all be that similar in assessment.
So in your perspective, you believe that from I'm trying to get what you're saying to us.
Absolutely.
From your assessment, you're saying that a different builders should cause the county to levy different appraisals?
If we just randomly picked a home, we wouldn't be able to guess what the quality is before we see that home. And in this neighborhood, all the homes are being assessed basically as the same quality. But they are different sizes. Like, most of the homes are, all the homes are larger than mine. Some one by over a multiple of 2, others by multiple of 1.2. So there's just such significantly different aspects of these homes that it doesn't make sense that they would all receive practically the same quality assessment.
Thank you. That's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
I've got just a couple of questions. In understanding the quality and how that's assessed, to me, that's just one component of the calculation. It's not a.
Correct.
So there's a lot of other factors that go into it to me besides just the quality of the home. But you purchased the property, then you built the home, correct? When did you finish construction of the home?
We got our CO in 2019.
Okay. Did you have an appraisal done for the bank or mortgage company if there was a mortgage? Do you remember what that value was?
No, I do not. Yeah, it was cash.
Right. So there was no mortgage?
Correct.
Okay. So did you have to get an appraisal for any reason, or? And I know you
know.
Yeah.
So I do have insurance on the home.
Right.
And the value from the insurance policy, I think it was something around like $800,000 to build it, so something like that.
Right.
But it's not the same type.
Which would
I did contact 2 appraisal companies before coming here.
Right.
But neither one showed up.
Right.
And it's obviously the burden of proof's on me. So since I couldn't use that, I'm kind of trying to use probability here, which also can be a good way of assessing.
And then another question, I just kind of wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something. You're kind of going through the county comps. Did you have any additional comps of your own that you furnished?
Yeah, so I think it was
Okay,
like my
I'm trying to see.
My second page, or my first page
16.
are my comps that I came up with.
Right,
or
I see those.
Went on Zillow. So those are my comps, and the county also took those comps and ran it through their quality grading system and their grid system.
Right.
And
I looked at it real quick. I kept thinking, because when I flipped back to the county's information, it was the same, but they may have been taking yours. I'll address that with the county, but.
Okay.
But my main, where I was really going with this is from the data that I was looking at is when you when you purchase the property versus completing the home, and then if you had an appraisal, especially if you had an appraisal that was done in 23 or 24 is kind of where I was going. I was going to want to know what that is, and that would be great information to have, you know, if you had that done, okay?
Right.
So,
I understand.
but it sounds like you finished the home well before any time in 2024. I mean, you've been there several.
Yeah, it was in 2019. So the home was, you know, assessed previously as well, and today now we have a 60% hike when the home is the same on the inside. We haven't decided to renovate anything inside there.
If you've seen some of the data across the county, I mean, a lot of it has gone up countywide.
Yeah,
You know,
I understand.
Not countywide, but a lot of it, you know, so, let us hear from the county, if you would have a seat, and I'll come back to you for any final comments, Mr. Teal.
right,
Okay?
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning,
Good morning.
Mr. Hector.
Is everybody familiar with where it's located?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the next sheet would be, that I would reference, is 13 and 14, which is a photo of the subject property. There's a front picture, and there's also a back picture of the house. I drove down the street yesterday. It appears that it's a custom-built house. All the homes on the street also appear to be custom-built houses. They may have had different builders, but it wouldn't be that surprising that they would all have similar quality, whether it be excellent, minus. They would be in that range. The comps, let's go to page 16. These are the comps, I believe, that were provided by the homeowner. I did take a look at those. We did review those sales. A lot of the homes were much older. They were built in 98, 88, 96. The one on Cherry Road, 2418 Cherry Lane, it was a newer home. It did have $1 per square foot. Not that that's what we look at, but it was around $337. One of the reasons it was not used was because of the 25% gross adjustment when we put it in and when we looked at it on our sales comparison grid. The other three were put on the same grid, and they would have 87, 54%, and 64% adjustment. So they just weren't what we would consider to be similar sales. Then we would go to page 33, which is our market analysis report. We chose 3 sales. They were all of similar quality. They were all, similar in square footage, or they were at least within 500 square feet. They were in what we would consider comparable market areas or competitive market areas. We did have to go by, I think there were 6 or 8 sales, or 6 or 8 properties on that street. So we didn't know of any sales, or didn't find any sales on that street. So we did have to go out to find some similar sales. One other thing that kind of makes this property unique is the acreage. It is on 2.24 acres. It was built in 2019, and we have it as average condition. But all of the compers that we ran, whether we ran his sales or we ran our sales, it supported our value. So we felt that's why we didn't change it from the original.
And I'm with you now because I see his comps on page 16, and then behind that, he's going through county comps, and then I see the comps.
And just based on the photos, it does look like it's, you know, of excellent. It seems very reasonable to believe that it's of excellent minus quality.
Okay. Questions for the county, Mr. Benson?
I think he hit on mine,
Okay. Mr. Smith?
No, I'm fine. I know
Mr.
where I am.
O'Keefe?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Acton.
Thank you.
Mr. Teal, any final comments that you may have?
Thank you again. I would like to say that I would like if the county would respond to the mistake on comp number 3, that would be appreciated, because I don't think there's just any way we can possibly go forward with this valuation without making sure the information we're using is correct. Like, I don't think that should be something that keeps going forward. And then additionally, with my comps, even if we use their calculation with my comps and we threw out the outlier number 4, it would definitely bring down the value of the home as well. So regardless of how we look at it, as long as we're making sure all the information is correct, the valuation will go down at some number. It's just trying to figure out what that fair number
Yeah,
is.
and you're speaking to their comp number 3, the one on Lockhaven Road, and you're speaking to the unfinished basement, and you're saying it's finished.
It is finished according to Zillow.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
And this is the same problem that Mr. Garcia noticed as well with one of his comps was being used. So it seems to be a common oversight that's
Yeah.
occurring.
Okay. With that, thank you, and I'll ask that question of the county. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Can you kind of speak to that, Mr. Acton, on that?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah,
It does appear that it is finished, and we had it as unfinished.
right.
So whatever,
So that could be a discovery for the county.
well, yes, it could be, for very sure. It's something that we will look into. It was consistent. If we used it in any other sales or any other market analysis reports, it would have been the same. You could, you know, it should have been adjusted for slightly different or different.
Right.
If you take the 4 sales that were provided, 3 of them you can't use. You could use the 2418 Cherrywood Lane. I did put it into our market analysis report. I reviewed it. It came in at 1688.
Right.
So if you switch those 3 comps out, we would still end up with a value that supported the county's value.
Right.
So it was an oversight, it was a mistake, or whatever you want to call it, but it will be,
Yeah.
it'll be
Well,
corrected.
and I reckon looking at it simplistically, and maybe if I'm correct, maybe this would help clarify it. Even if it was rated finished, it would just be a bigger adjustment coming down.
Yeah, yes, it would be adjusted for.
It'd
in
be
a
pulled out-
negative,
it'd
and
be
it would
pulled-
bring it down.
It would be pulled out anyway, it would just be a little bigger number being pulled out than the 67.3.
Yeah, it came in a little high, it came in higher, it more than supported the value.
Right,
It would be adjusted for, there would be a higher adjustment on
Right.
that.
right.
It certainly wouldn't get, down to the 1.1 or 1 million
Right,
range.
right,
So-
yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, hold on just a minute. Yeah, Mr. Benson?
what in your estimate would it get down to?
I don't know that he
Are
could.
you talking about the adjustment?
Yeah.
Well, you've got 3 comps, it was the last one, so it was given the least amount of value consideration. I don't know that it'll have a significant amount. As far as the amount that it would be adjusted for, I would have to review the market data. I just don't have that in front of me, or I can't speak to that. I would have to base it off of what the market shows.
If I may,
Yes, Brad.
if you look at the bottom, very last number on comp number 3, it adjusts out to 1.756. So even if you took $100,000 adjustment, you're still down at the value we had on the subject.
Yeah.
Even if you took another 100 grand off.
You see what he's talking about, Mr. Benchy?
Yeah, so it wouldn't move the 1.5, the 1.577.
Yeah, even if you had another 100,000 on top of it, is what Mr. Helms is saying.
It'd be 166.
It'd be, that comp would come in at 1.66, even if you took another $100,000 adjustment.
$200,000 to get down.
Yeah.
You could take out more, and it would still support it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
A quick question. The comps that were supplied were not useful or weren't able to be used. What's the criteria? Just so I understand. I think I heard you say earlier it was like 50 or less percent the way things, I just need to understand better why they're not usable.
In general, there's no set criteria for a comp. In this general case, we're looking for similar square footage, age built. A lot of the comps were built in like 1998. The subject was recently built. It's a newer home. And when you adjust, when you put those on the sales comparison grid and you adjust out, the gross adjustments on those were greater than there was one at 54%, there was one at 87%, and there was one at 64%. Like I said, the 2418 Cherrywood Lane, it's a newer house. You could have, it would certainly be worthy of consideration, but it supported a value of 1688, so it supported the value as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Acton.
Thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
All right, we will move to hearing number 2. This is for property key number 06108-576. This is for Roanne Christopher Gerard, trustee et al., and they are not present today.
Okay. So they are not here. Okay.
Then we will jump to hearing number 6. This is for property key number 04195012E. This is for owner Doris Price, who is also not present today.
Okay.
This will take us to hearing number 8, property key number 06186430. For owner is Enkit and Hetal Takar, and they are not present. Just as a note, I have been informed that they did contact the tax office and did approve the current value. So I'll give you that information prior to deliberations of what the tax office has as the 818700.
Okay. So noted.
Which is why they did not attend today. Correct.
Everybody got that?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Then that'll take us to hearing number 9. This is for property key number 01087004F. Taxpayer is Ronald and Sharon Abner, and they are not present today. Hearing 10 is the staff recommendations, which is going to be your addendum A that has been provided to you.
Okay.
This is going to be for the 3 cases that are listed where we have settled those between the tax office and the taxpayer on the value. So you
Okay.
can discuss that during deliberations.
Okay.
Hearing 11 is also going to be on the agenda. It's the ones that they have noticed the taxpayer of value, but did not hear back from the taxpayer to appeal their value today.
Okay.
That's your addendum B.
Okay.
And lastly, we have hearing number 12. This is the information on your addendum C that has been provided from the taxpayer by the name of Tax Proper. And they have just requested that the board review the documentation provided, which is gonna be the spreadsheet, the legal set spreadsheet that you have. It's also gonna be in your notebooks,
Okay.
This
and
C?
notebook two.
That's
Your
the
addendum-
summary, and this
addendum
big book
C.
here, it backs up this,
Correct.
correct?
That's your job.
And they're not present, they just asked that the board review their documentation, which has been provided to you today.
And I've got my own opinion about it.
That's your job.
Yeah.
And that concludes the agenda.
Okay, so now we can move into the deliberation phase, okay? So we're now in the deliberation phase now, so we can't take any additional information. Okay.
All right, so the first one to deliberate is gonna be your hearing number 1, which is for property key number 061170003A. And that was for Stephen and Brittany Vong that we did here today.
Okay. This is the one that's split by the county line.
Yes.
And, of course, there was a big adjustment on the Union County side of it, which is the back portion of the property. I think we kind of all got clarified on the dividing line and roughly about a third of it.
Is in
If I remember.
Mecklenburg County.
Right. So, and we've dealt with several of these already. And, okay. What's the pleasure of the board here? Any discussion?
Well, this can't be split up, so it's a single unit.
Right. To me, you have to view the home site. Yeah.
This is an allocation of which dollars are where in Mecklenburg County is set.
Right. Right.
And there's a total value set effectively by the adjacent across the street properties.
Yeah, I mean, there's a total value of the 73 just on the back portion on the Union County side, not including the Mecklenburg County
Right.
piece, right?
And the fact that, it's basically Mecklenburg County, but the value of the properties across the power line
Make
is
sure,
massive.
make sure you're getting into the mic. Yeah.
Sorry, the value of the property across the power line is significant.
Right,
I've got it, I mean, it's a large jump if
Yeah.
you go across the power line.
yeah. To me, you just have to look at it as a whole.
Yeah, you look at it as a whole, but you have to divide up the value between the two
Right.
counties.
Right, right.
And Mecklenburg County has their set, and then the tax office has set a overall value, so that leaves you a remainder value.
Right.
Which would be Union County.
Yeah.
That's kind of the math I see.
And this one, to me, is treated similar to the ones, if you looking at the plat to the left, that are very similar with the county line going through it. I mean,
Mr. Chairman, I mean, this here is one, it seemed as though that our folks here for a long time knew that this property was undervalued. And through their due diligence and their research, one, they levied an appropriate, from what their perspective, value. But even when the taxpayer spoke to them about it, they themselves, the county, made some adjustments from the 73 to the 69. So I believe that the county has done their due diligence in this particular matter, and I make a motion that we uphold
okay.
the county.
So I have a motion from Mr. Benchin that the county's value be upheld at the $69,000.
Second.
I have a second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for the current value to remain on parcel 06117-003A.
All right, that will bring us to hearing number 2, which was for 06108-576 Roanne Christopher Gerard, trustee et al., who was not present today.
Okay. So what's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion, we accept the county's value.
Second.
So I have a motion from Mr. Smith, a second from Mr. Benson to accept the current value of $720,200 on tab 06108576. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried.
All right, hearing number 3 was for property key number 02095010. This was for taxpayers Kimberly and Alan Tolan, who was present and presented today.
To me, I mean, it kind of gets into the land solely, really. I mean, I think that's where we all were.
Well, there's
and,
two pieces to this.
Yeah, and we're just dealing with the first one.
We're dealing with the first one.
And it's on there at 13.3 per acre. Granted, the septic piece, but I think all that's been taken into consideration. I mean, I don't know there's anything we.
I hate to say it, that was the cost to build the house.
Yeah,
That was the cost of what you got to do to make it go.
right.
We have that same problem in Weddington all the time. You got to do either expensive footings or expensive septic systems to make the land buildable. And once you do that, then you get to what you have.
Right.
So it doesn't degrade, it makes it buildable.
Yeah, it just, each case is different, and I look at, I know we all look at them different, and this one, it's sort of, you can just see we can say it's the cost of doing business, and I'm in agreement with Mrs. Smith, by the way, but from a taxpayer's perspective, when they know what one system average costs, and then they have to pay something multiple times more, I can see that point, but again, it still comes back to what Mr. Smith said. If that's what it takes to get the job done, when you buy the land, this is part of that deal.
Well, there's been other developments and things like that have come to a screeching halt on this very issue. And you can see the old, the old entrances that look a little dated, but that's just, that you gotta know.
Yeah.
Yes. Stinks, but.
But whether you know or not, if you wish to build, and you can do it, and it costs extra, it doesn't degrade from the value of the property.
True.
No.
Yeah.
Because you end up with a finished product.
You have to end up with a finished
That
product.
has been assessed by the county based on other finished product that's the same way.
And the county did, provide us information that's not even something that they took into consideration.
Well, there's just an overabundance of specialized systems
Right.
Yeah.
with the properties in this
Yeah,
county.
well, and also, they're not trying to value it as subdividable and jack the per acre up either.
Right.
Which, if it was good land, you might be looking at a different value per acre.
Okay. So what's the pleasure of the board?
Recommend that we accept the county's valuation of the property.
I have a motion from Mr. O'Keefe to uphold the current value of $486,200.
I'll second.
And second from Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for the value to be upheld on parcel number 02095010.
All right, that will bring us to hearing number 4, which was for property key number 02095010B, also for Kimberly and Alan Tolan, who you did hear today.
And I think on this one, they took that per acre number and just applied it to this acreage, and that's where you come up with the 42. And
Yes.
on
And I
a
hate to
smaller
say-
tract, but a smaller tract's gonna carry a larger per acre number.
I just have a hard time
Yeah.
assessing more for owning the same property next to each other.
And to me, I mean, that's why we were going down that road about advising them to combine the deeds.
Combine the property, but
Yeah.
it's just, the value of the land, I know we do these automatic adjustments based on smaller parcels, but being you own the land next to it, I just have
But they can sell it.
they can sell it.
Yeah.
But I have heartburn.
Yeah. I think to that remedy, I mean, they need to combine it, you know.
Yeah, then they can take it to the tax office.
Right, right. And
But it's, it seemed as though, just in the end, that they like having two separate properties.
Yeah, it's their choice.
It's their
Yeah,
choice.
yeah.
It seemed like they liked it.
Right.
That that's what they want.
I think we'd have
They
to.
can solve the problem if they wish to.
Yeah.
They can solve it if they wish to, but
Yeah.
at this current state, from what I gathered, at least by our questioning, specifically my questions, is that they're content.
Yeah. So, with that, we know they have a possible remedy on some of it. So what's the pleasure of the board here?
Well, I'll say this, their possible remedy could actually decrease the overall value of the other property too, because the whole thing becomes larger and
Right.
less
Right.
per acre
Right.
on using our grid.
And to me, I think we'd have to be very careful. I think we just
Yeah.
advise them to go to their attorney.
Yep.
Understand it, maybe come back to the county before they do it, and they get a good idea of where that number is, and, you know, all we can do is just recommend they seek counsel, you know.
I
Motion
agree.
to uphold, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
okay.
I'll
So,
second the uphold.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So, motion's carried for the current value to be upheld at 67,100 for parcel number 02095010B.
Okay, that'll bring us to hearing number 5 for property key number 09247045. The taxpayers were Michael and Cindy Garcia, which you did hear today.
I think the thing that's still sticking out in my mind on this one, I mean, they purchased it in, what, 21, somewhere right around there, and they paid $320 for it. You know. There were some upgrades, but I think that was done before he purchased the home.
Mr. Chairman, I think, you know, my question of, did you buy the home or did you have it built? You know, in answering that, he shared with us that that was a year in which folks were making decisions that in other years they may not have made. However, they made it.
Yeah.
They made that decision. And I just can't get away, unless somebody has something to say, I'm finding it hard to get away from the fact that they made that decision. And once they made that decision, whatever it is that came after that, you know, it's not going to change the decision they made, whether it's something they had to fix, whether it's something they had to upgrade, whether it's something they had to do. It was a property that they loved, they liked, they loved, they fell in love, they purchased it. And now the county has come along and determined a new assessment value. But even the county, in their great consideration, lowered it from the notice value to the current value. So I think the county themselves saw some things that could be lowered.
Right.
And so, you know,
Good
there was
point.
good faith effort made by Ms. Wiggins and her team on sort of reassessing the assessment they made.
Yeah. Good point. So, is that in the form of a motion or any further discussion? or-
I'm sure I could, but it seems like others may have something to say.
I make a motion that we accept the county's value at 392.
So I have a motion from Mr.
I'll
Oki.
second it.
I have a second from Mr. Benson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried to uphold the current value of $392,000 for parcel number 09247045.
All right, that'll take us to hearing number 6. Property key number 04195012E for taxpayer Doris Price, who was not present today.
Motion to uphold, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion-
Second.
I Have a motion, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion's carried for the current value to remain at $574,600 on parcel number 04195012E.
All right, that will take us to hearing number 7 for property key number 06147020F. This was for Michael Teal, who was here and presented today.
I mean, I'm with the county on this one.
I
I'm worried
didn't
about
see
no-
anything
Yeah.
in his numbers, because I'm familiar with a number of those properties,
Yeah.
and they were not comparable whatsoever. This is a new, basically new neighborhood custom built.
Yeah,
And honestly, the number the county has may even be low.
yeah, yeah. I think that was reflected in a couple of the comps, so, okay. So is any further discussion?
No, I think it was evaluated.
It was
Right.
fairly evaluated.
Yeah, okay,
I am going to abstain from voting, being it's a resident of the town I'm in.
yeah.
You don't need me.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, I think
Mr.
the
Chairman,
only way he can abstain.
you can't abstain unless you have a personal interest in the
Yeah.
property.
Not a, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I get into that too with former clients, and I've
Yeah.
been told I couldn't, yeah. So,
That's fine.
okay.
Make a motion that we accept the county's current value.
Do I have a motion? And do I have a second?
Second.
Second for Mr. Benson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for the current value to remain at $1,577,200
Yeah,
on
this is-
parcel
given this is a judicial board, I have to vote.
06147020F. Okay.
If this was an advisory board, I could skip it, but it's a judicial board, I have to
Yeah,
vote.
yeah.
All right, that'll take us to hearing number 8 for property key number 06186430. This was for taxpayers Enkit and Hettel Takar, who were not present, but as stated earlier, they did let us know that they were okay with the tax office's value of 8187.
Okay.
Motion to uphold, Mr. Chairman, unless,
You're making a motion for the 818.
no, I made the motion, and you look like you ain't ready to say something.
No, what I was saying is,
For the 8187,
yeah, the compromise value.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a motion for
Second.
Mr. Benson to uphold the current value of $818,700, which is what the taxpayers agreed to, and a second for Mr. Smith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for the current value to remain at $818,700 for parcel number 06186430.
All right, that'll take us to hearing number 9 for property key number 01087004F. This is going to be for taxpayers Ronald and Sharon Abner, who are not here today.
Okay.
Make a motion, we accept the county's recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion for Mr. Smith, a second for Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for the value to remain at 165.9 for parcel 01087004F.
Okay, hearing number 10 is going to be your addendum A, which was the recommendations by the county that had been settled with the taxpayers on the value.
Any questions there on those three?
None for me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
None for me.
Nope.
So,
Make a motion to approve staff recommendation
Second.
have a motion for Mr.
for hearing
Ben-
10.
Yeah, have a motion for Mr. Benson and a second for Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So, motion's carried for staff recommendations to be approved as presented.
All right, hearing number 11 is going to be your addendum B. This is the county's notice of values that have been submitted to the taxpayers who did not correspond back saying that they would like to appeal those values.
We've dealt with these every meeting. I think everybody understands the process here.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion about this?
Nope.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept addendum B.
So I have a motion from Mr. Smith to accept all that's presented in addendum B.
Second?
Second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried to accept all that's presented in addendum B, hearing 11.
Hearing 12, that is going to be your addendum C, which also there is documentation in your notebook too that correlates with that addendum C. This has been presented by tax proper, and as indicated before, the appellant was just requesting that the board review the documentation in their absence since they're not present today.
When did the county receive all this information? I mean, just roughly, I mean,
We would have received that during the appropriate time frame. We've probably been sitting on it for a month or two, getting
Yeah.
to it to work it, but it's been in the queue with the rest of the 7,000 plus appeals.
right. Because I don't know, just my personal opinion.
We just got through working them
Yeah,
just recently to put them on the agenda.
okay. I would just, with that volume of information and them not showing up, I'm tempted just to not review it, but I mean, is the county, is the county wanting to present any information on this? Okay.
No, sir.
I want to make sure I'm not out of school on anything, but with that volume of information, I just don't see that is a logical request to me. I mean, if you see how much information we got here, I mean, to me, the
Take
taxpayer
a
ought to be
month to
present.
review.
It's a tax rep that appealed these. It's close to 400 appeals.
Yeah,
And the majority are no changes.
right.
What was that again?
It is a tax rep that appealed close to 400 appeals.
So
properties in the county.
one tax representative appealed on behalf of all these citizens?
The
Correct.
summary you've got here, I think this is a summary of all of them.
Right, of all, and they were represented by one taxing agent or agency, whatever,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
How often has this occurred?
It's been going on for the last 3 reappraisal cycles. They usually show up during the revow year. We have there's different ones across the country. Ryan Holmes but Ryan Company, they're a tax rep, and tax proper. This is the first time we've received something from tax proper. And you'll see some more from Larry Shaheen in the future that we'll bring before you. He had quite a few, but not to this volume.
And Mr. Chairman, they're wanting us to review these. Is the county in agreement with this?
Sir,
Is
could you
the
repeat
county
that?
in agreement with this?
Yes, this is our work. We've reviewed them, made changes where we deem necessary.
So you all are for this?
Yes, yeah, we've reviewed these appeals.
This is our work.
That's our work.
Right.
Yeah, and so they reviewed every one of these properties. And if anything deemed adjustments, county.
They've already made the adjustments and the county, so what we're looking at or what we approved of is the final result of you all.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
I
I'm
mean,
good
if
with
I,
that.
if I'm reading this correct, there's only a change in one, the very first one.
I would have to look at the document, but you may
That's
be
the way
right.
it seems.
Yeah.
According to this spreadsheet. So,
It allows them to go to PTC if they deem,
right.
if they feel, getting up, bring it before the board.
So this is a
go through this
pass-through.
process allows them to go to the next step if they choose.
Right,
They can go to Raleigh if they want to.
yeah, I agree.
I make a motion to accept addendum C.
It's So I have a motion from Mr. Smith to accept addendum C as presented here in this spreadsheet.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Second from Mr. Benson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
Have fun and
So
run.
the motion's carried to accept addendum C as presented by county staff for hearing 12.
And Mr. Chairman, that is the conclusion of our agenda today.
All righty. So we meet next week, next Wednesday.
I will not be here, Mr. Chairman. I'll be seeing grandchild number 9,
All right. Congratulations.
California.
Okay. Mr. Harrell?
Just a couple of things. We have roughly 330 appeals remaining
Right.
for the board. Starting in September, we will be meeting 2 days a week.
I wondered when it was going to pick
Yeah,
up.
starting September, I think she's got it scheduled out to that point now, through September and October, so it will be 2 days a week.
Right, okay.
I will be out for probably 2 odd weeks in the late September, beginning of October.
Okay.
I'll
If
be
you
in
just submit
Montana.
those to us, we'll make note of that.
Yeah, I'll be in Montana, so,
Yeah, just let us know, we'll make note of that.
I will.
Okay, I'm going to be out a little bit, but I think I can work around it. Okay, so ready to adjourn? Motion to adjourn?
Make a
So
motion
moved,
to
Mr. Chairman.
adjourn.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Belma, after next Wednesday, when is our next one? The following Wednesday?
Skip one week in August, don't we skip, always skip in 1 week?
I don't have it on my calendar, that's why I want to know.
I think I have 3 August on my calendar.
Yeah.
But she's going to come back and clarify it for you.